Morning boys, first video of the half term, new background, we're going to be looking at surds. Surds for now just involve square roots, examples being root 7, root 2 and root 14. Now using some manipulation of surds we can actually show, or we can work out and we can say that root 2 times root 7 is the same as root 14. So we can multiply surds together like this. If you want to check that this statement is correct, do root 2 times root 7 on your calculator and then check that it is the same as root 14. Now I'm going to get you to do some examples. Pause the video once you've seen the examples and see if you can just use the simple manipulation to work out the answers to root 5 times root 2, root 8 times root 3 and to root 5 times 3 root 7. Pause the video now, do these questions and then I'll give you the answers in a second. Okay, so root 5 times root 2 is the square root of 5 times 2, which is the square root of 10. Square root of 8 times square root of 3 is root 8 times 3, which is root 24. Okay, this one's a little more tricky, but we can rearrange multiplication in any way we want, so we can actually say it's 2 times 3 times by root 5 times 7. Okay. So this ends up being, so we times the numbers together and we times the surds together. So this ends up being 6 root 35. Okay. First sort of manipulation of surds, multiplication done. Now we're going to look at adding surds. Now you can't add surds together unless they are the same. Now what do I mean? Well, two surds like root 3 plus root 2, you can't add them together. That's not the same as root 5, not equal to root 5. Root 3 plus root 2, if you did it on your calculator, you get 3.146, etc. And then root 5, you did that on your calculator, 2.236. Now these are not the same just by doing them on your calculator. But we can add surds when they are the same. An example might be root 2 plus 2 root 2. Well, the question becomes, how many root 2's do you have? We've got 1 root 2 plus 2 root 2, so we end up with 3 root 2's. Okay? That's how we add surds. We can add them when they are exactly the same. So root 2's you can add together. You can add root 3's together, but you can't add root 3 and root 2 together. Okay, so I'm going to put some examples down, and you are just going to try them for yourself. Pause the video, try these two examples, and see what you get. Okay, so for the first one, root 7 plus 5 root 7. Well, that's just 6 root 7. How many root 7's do you have? This one, 2 root 6 minus 6 root 6. How many root 6 do you have? You have negative 4 root 6's. Okay, so that's how you add surds together. Okay. Right, we're going to look at the next topic within surds, simplifying surds. Okay, so I'm going to write a list of surds. So, these 4 surds, if you do them on your calculator, root 200, 10 root 2, 2 root 50 and 5 root 8, they're all the same. They're all 14.14 with some more decimal places. Now, 10 root 2 we would say is the simplest surd. Okay. And I'll sort of explain why during this video. Right, so we can show that these are sort of all the same using the ideas from the previous section. So let's take root 200. Now we could split root 200 up. We could say root 200 was the same as root 4 times 50, because 4 times 50 is 200. So what we've done there is we think about a square number which divides 200. In this case, 4 is a square number and it divides 200. So we split this up as root 4 times root 50. Now the square root of 4 is 2, so it's 2 root 50. And you can see that's one of the surds in the list at the top there. So 2 root 50 and root 200 are the same. Okay? But this isn't the simplest form because there's another square number which divides 50. Another square number divides 50. Well, that is 25. So we can say that root 50 is root 25 times by root 2. Okay? Because 25 times 2 is 50. Square root of 25 is 5. Okay, so simplify this. 2 times 5 times root 2 is just 10 root 2. So that is the simplest surd, because there are no square numbers that divide root 2 anymore. We could have done this quicker. Okay? We could have done the same calculation quicker by thinking about the biggest square number which divides 200. Okay? So if you think about root 200, what's the biggest square number that divides 200? Well, that is 100. So I can write this root 200 as the square root of 100 times 2. The square root of 100 times the square root of 2 is just 10 times root 2, because the square root of 100 is 10. So now what I'm going to get you to do is pause the video and simplify all of these surds. Okay? Write them in their simplest form. So you should have done these questions by now. Let's have a look at them. So root 75 is the square root of 25 times the square root of 3, because 25 is the biggest square number that divides 75. This ends up being 5 root 3. Root 8, biggest square number divides 8 is 4, square root of 4 times root 2, which is 2 root 2. Square root of 18, the biggest square number that divides 18 is 9. So it's the square root of 9 times the square root of 2, which is 3 root 2. Root 98, the biggest square number that divides 98 is 49. So this is the square root of 49 times the square root of 2, 7 root 2. Square root of 48, well, you could do this, you probably did it like this. You probably did 4 times by the square root of 12. Okay, and this gives you 2 root 12. If you got that, well, that's good, but it's not the simplest way, because root 12 can be split up as well. 4 also divides 12, so you get 2 times root 4 times root 3, which ends up being 2 times 2 root 3, which is 4 root 3. Could have done it quicker though. Biggest square number that divides 48 is 16, so this is square root of 16 times the square root of 3, which is, square root of 16 is 4 root 3. Okay. 2 root 60, don't be put off by that 2, you just look at 60. The biggest square number that divides 60 is 4, so it's the square root of 2 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 15. This ends up being 2 times root 15, which ends up being 4 root 15. 6 root 27, biggest square number that divides root 27 is root 9, so that's, you end up with 18 root 3. And finally, big square number that divides 44 is 4. Okay, let's just go back. So they're the answers to the questions. We'll do some more practice in class, and we'll build on these ideas in the next video, which will be coming out very shortly. I know you're eager with anticipation.